Beanie Sigel says after Jadakiss heard him diss him on Hot 97, he got so mad he went to grab a gun. What up, world? It's your boy Charles Brown back again talking fact. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell. We remember when these guys was going at it. We used to have, this is when the internet first was starting to, we started to realize what it was good for. And one thing it was good for was making beef worse, right? Now, if you didn't live in New York, you still heard those freestyles because the internet. And the freestyles were the LOX versus Beanie Sigel and State Property. And it was crazy. It was the time when Rockefeller, this was the time when you really had to spit. This could never happen again right now because these guys really were incredibly good lyricists. They knew the game well. And they turned it up a notch with all the gunplay talk and all the hood talk. But these guys knew how to write their bars. They knew how to sting you. They knew how to get you. And modern day battle rap is based after what Beanie, Jadakiss, Sheik, all these guys was doing on these radio stations. When you did it, when you had the battle, you went up to the stations back then in New York. I'm going to read from this article on Hip Hop DX, and we're going to have a conversation. Beanie Sigel has recounted his beef with the LOX, in particular the time Jadakiss got so angry at State Property's infamous Hot 97 freestyle diss. At the height of their rivalry, he wanted to grab a gun, allegedly. This is all allegedly, but I believe it. During the latest segment of his conversation with Vlad TV, Beanie recalled the 2002 freestyle that dealt a vicious blow to the LOX. Sheik Luch had already shared the story during his talk with Vlad and explained that Kiss was so aggravated with the freestyle that he grabbed his gun and wanted to head to Hot 97 to deal with the situation in person. According to Beanie Sigel, that was the reaction his crew wanted. They were from Philly and wanted to prove themselves to their New York counterparts. Funk Flex didn't make the situation any better as he told Beanie Sigel, Freeway, and the rest of State Property to go in with the freestyle. Quote, I think probably the initial drive is that we was from Philly and Flex was like, kill him. I mean, I'm glad it didn't go there, but that's the reaction you want. Though yeah, we had to do that. They're going to be one and done, so it's like you got to be relentless. Do you guys remember? I don't know if you guys remember when these freestyles started hitting the internet. First, they were on the radio, and that was already like everybody was talking about this radio, this and that was going on, right? But those internets started to come right after that, and we started to hear for ourselves these guys putting vicious words. Yo, listen, if you can get on YouTube, right? After this video goes off, go on YouTube, look up them old Beanie Sigel, them LOX versus Rock and the State Property and this and that. The only one that really took an L to me was when Cassidy bodied Freeway. But outside of that, when them battles used to go, yo, they go up to the Hot 97. A lot of things happened when they came out of there because they was getting so grimy. And what it is, dude's gritting his teeth and telling you how when he see you is on and popping, that hurts your ego. And the whole city's listening. Everybody's like, New York, 6 million people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody that's listening to that radio station at night and then they hearing about it tomorrow, that went on for months. One of them freestyles, that's months and months. Then they start putting the mixtape. So now it's on the mixtape. It's on the mix CD. It's on the internet forever. All this stuff that he said, right? Let me read a little more. The infamous freestyle took place in 2002 and heard the State Property crew take apart the LOX on classic beats such as G-Dep's Special Delivery, Mobb Deep's The Learning, Jay-Z's Jigga Dat Nigga, and more. The LOX weren't the only rappers to get dissed on the track. Nas, Jazzo, and others received shots too. Wow, I forgot that they got that Jazzo. That's hilarious. The moment saw the Rockefeller and LOX beef hit its peak as Beanie Sigel and Jadakiss were leading the way for their respective crews. Elsewhere in the conversation with Vlad, Beanie revealed that the whole beef started because Jay served a couple of subliminal shots at Jadakiss on the remix of R. Kelly's Fiesta. Now, let's be clear. I want to be clear with this one. And I get it. People going to say what they want to say. I don't recall Jay being the first to throw subliminal shots. Let's be honest. Jay caught so many subliminal shots in between albums, it wasn't even funny. At one point, before Jay dropped, the Blueprint. Was it the Blueprint? Before Jay dropped the Blueprint, right? And at the end of the song, the takeover, when he said, all you other cats throwing shots at Jigga, you only get half a bar. F y'all niggas. Remember that line? And I'm going to be honest with you, and anybody that say differently is being dishonest. Jay shut down half of New York with that one line. In the other part where he says, I'm talking to all of y'all, right? Now, before he said that line, before the Blueprint dropped, Jay was one of the most subliminally attacked rappers in the game. Everybody had a line for Jay. Even Nas had lines for Jay. They did not have their full-blown battle yet. They had a couple subliminal lines. So Jay was not striking first on a lot of these guys. A lot of guys thought the things was about them, right? And some of them was. They admittedly saying that Jay, when he was talking about imaginary players, was talking about Mace, right? A lot of these guys subliminally attacked each other, but to be clear, I'm going to go on record. I don't think Jay struck first on Jadakiss. Jada said a lot of slick stuff. I remember Fat Joe, Jada, quite a few dudes had a whole bunch of subliminal lines coming at Jay back in them days. It's just a fact, bro. So he's saying that it started. That's what Beanie's looking at. But Jay and them had little subliminals before Beanie was even on the rock. This stuff goes back, way back. This stuff was, everybody was coming up at the same time, and these guys were in the same circles. They knew who and what was whatever. But I want to continue because Jada does go on, Sheik goes on to say he would have shot them if he would have had a chance back in them days. So it says, Kiss had that record. He was on that R. Kelly record. Bean said about the original Fiesta. He didn't take a shot at me. Jay took a shot at them. After the party, it's the hotel lobby. And after the original is probably this. That Fiesta joint. Kiss and them was on that joint first. Is that a diss? He's on the remix of Fiesta. And he said after the party, where is it at? He said after the party, it's the hotel lobby. And after the original is probably this. Is that a diss? I'm going to wait till somebody tell me that. If I say, oh, your song probably come on first, then mine's a second. How is that a diss? But I'm going to keep it moving. Beans is saying it's a subliminal. It may be a subliminal, but it's not a diss, right? He continued. It was a shot because it was a couple joints that they was on first, and Jay jumped on joints, and then you hear little stuff. We know who the best is. Big ain't here, so it's a lot of a dark storm. Styles P spoke about the origins of the beef during his visit to Math Hoffa. Beans was like us, but from Philly. You already know what Hove and Dame and them were doing, so that was more personal for me. Kiss and Hove kept being on the same remixes and something happened. It just felt like they were aiming for Kiss and for me. Kiss is our Derek Jeter. Where I'm from, you don't F with one of us. If you F with one of us, you F with everybody. He also opened up about how he wanted to shoot Hove and Beans over the beef because how personal it got. According to P, I said Sheik, but I meant to say P. P was the one saying he wanted to shoot him. According to P, the beef with G-Unit wasn't going to escalate as much as the one with Rockefeller. Quote, we didn't go to war with 50. I would have shot Beans and Hove at that time. I wouldn't have shot 50. There was no emotional ties to it. With Beans and Hove, it was more like I got love for them, and this is our story when we came up. At that time, I had 2 guns on me every day, not because of them, but because of life. That's Styles P talking, and he's saying he felt some kind of way that it was so personal that he probably would have took it and aired them out. That's how much his emotions was in it. You got to think all of this stuff is emotional. And yeah, it's a dirty game, right? You got to be in it for whatever, right? So Hove jumping on the remixes, it's a competitive game. Hove did a lot of stuff back then that people may be like, yo, that was some snake stuff or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's competition. I don't see how, yeah, you're going to feel away like, oh, he keep jumping on remixes, but this is the mentality of New York rappers. And this is why New York, in a way, kind of brought his own self down, right? They're looking at it like he's jumping on all the remixes we getting on. They remixes, so what, who cares, right? But in a New Yorker's mind, that's a challenge. Mad ego, mad testosterone, and that's what we came out of. So we got mad ego, mad testosterone, right? The South start helping each other up. They pick each other up. They do collabs together. You don't hear a lot of beefing with these guys, right? The South back then. That's how Atlanta ended up being the #1 market on the earth, and they have not let it go since they got it. Atlanta, Texas, Louisiana, them guys, a lot of them, yeah, they had their little internal beefs here and there, but end of the day, they the ones that taught us really how to collab and make big records bigger and how to help each other up. When they do their shows down there, the whole city support the show. They don't divide it up. Well, he with him and da. Like they go, it's a show. We gonna all support this. That New York wasn't like that. New York was very get it for yourself. Get it how you live it. Get down and lay down. That was the mentality that they was giving us. So with that mentality, it's like you can't eat at the same time as me, or we beefing, right? So it's like how Wesley Snipes say on Demolition Man. None of them New York dudes, they too uptight. You know what I'm saying? So this is the prime example of too uptight when you sit here and you realize Styles P just basically told you, and Sheik, they was jumping on too many remixes behind us. It felt like they was coming at us. Right? And these are my heroes, bro. So I'm not knocking them, but I'm just saying, in hindsight, as we start to grow and become bigger men, I'm sure they laugh at it now, they dap each other up, blah, blah. But he said at that time I would have shot him. See, the thing with these kids now, they are shooting each other. They're not getting older. They shooting each other now. So he said at that time I would have smoked them because I felt like they was coming at us. And maybe they was. It's a competitive sport. What rappers anywhere is not going to compete against the guys that's the top rappers. It is what it is. That's how you do this game. You just come back with your raps. But these guys took it mad personal. And Beans and them was saying some really foul. Yo, listen, they was going hard. Go back, like I said, listen to them freestyles. They was murdering each other. They was crazy. This was some of the most disrespectful stuff I've ever heard. Now, with that being said, nobody killed nobody. Everybody moved forward. And we got great music still. All of these guys are still living to tell their story. And that's all we can do is salute that. So what I want to do right now is salute Beans for never having to shoot nobody. Salute Jadakiss, Sheik, and Styles, and Hove. None of them had to shoot anybody. They was big enough to know we don't need to kill you or shoot you up. It's just rap. Yeah, they got mad enough and Jada wanted to go do whatever he wanted to do, but he never did. And on that note, let me know what you think in the comments. Is that petty? Would you say Beans and them won? Because a lot of people don't think Beans and them won when the LOX responded. Some people say they did, some people say they didn't. Let me know what you think when the smoke cleared and the dust settled. Who won that battle versus Rockefeller and the LOX? Because Beans and them put it on for. I think if Beans and them wasn't on the rock, it wouldn't have been nobody. It would have been Hove by himself, and he wouldn't have been able to handle these dudes. He wouldn't have been able to handle these dudes. And a lot of stuff he was able to talk was because he had Beans in them. So he was able to say this and say that. A lot of this monkey stuff that he's, you know what I'm saying, he goating these dudes. He knew that these dudes was really about that action, so he could say it. Well, let me know what you think. CLBMG on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We got live shows, 8:30, different nights of the week. Check it out. Make sure you go over there and see what we're doing. We're about to build a real network with something live every single day. I'm going to catch you on that flip side piece.
CLB.